끝에 이스나의 막이 올라 시켜보니 영시영영붐 두근대는 마음이 홀린 듯이 이끌림 눈부신 wow wow 터질 듯한 내맘 따라 boom 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 온 세상이란 나를 따라 zoom 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 시작이 두꺼웠던 날 만나게도 못해 전에 없던 날 만들어줘 okay 내가 있는 어디라도 못해 wow wow 누가 더 멋지 누가 더 빛나는지 시작이 꿈꿔왔던 날 만나게 될 one thing 전에 없던 날 만들어줘 one day We got the one thing
Coffee break. Today's tidbit.
All right, it's time for our weekdays coffee break. Today's tidbit, and joining us in this studio is Angela Ayup.
Ew.
So random tidbit here. I found out after the show that you study linguistics.
Like I took a class on Shakespeare, and
Wow.
because we were taking it was like Shakespeare actually sounds better in the American accent.
Yes.
Because
To be or not to be.
because like some scholars say that because back then when Shakespeare was alive, the British accent actually didn't exist. Some scholars argue that. So we were kind of learning linguistics with that, and we learned some.
That's great.
British
So she
accents.
actually, when I was doing, again, I did my British accent again on the drive back, and she pinpointed how I sounded like, and everything was what our listeners were saying, our British listeners were saying. And so now I found out the last British accent I did was,
Like it's from a show called, I think it's called EastEnders. My knowledge might be incorrect. But
it's bloody lovely.
no, no, not that one.
No, which one?
Like you were acting like a girl.
That's, what is it? That's not funny.
Yeah.
It's not funny. I got school.
Yeah, that kind of. It's like there are certain accents that are, certain characters use and are very famous.
So it's like the British version of Valley Girl. Like, I got school.
yeah.
That's not funny.
Yeah, kind of.
It's not funny.
It's kind of like gossipy.
As she's doing Hamlet as Borat. Why do I keep sounding like Borat? Very nice. What's our tidbit today? What are we going to talk about today?
You mentioned how the weather was awful.
Oh.
Like I mentioned that I hate humidity.
I can't stand what you're wearing right now.
That's why I'm wearing this.
Isn't this like supposed to, is it cool?
Like when it gets kind of cool during monsoon season, because, inside the air conditioning is very strong in South Korea and it gets cold inside, but this
True.
is like very dry
Okay.
yarn, so it doesn't stick to my body, so
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
I'm so hot right now. It's sticky hot.
Yeah, and so with the rainy season approaching, there's one thing Koreans can't live without.
During the rainy season?
Yeah.
Umbrella?
Yes. I was worried you're gonna say like air conditioning. Yes, umbrellas.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite umbrella?
Who has a favorite umbrella?
I do.
You have a favorite umbrella?
Yeah, I used to have one, but I lost it after I left it on the subway.
I had the one umbrella. I don't know where it went.
See, like people have an umbrella they, grab for.
No, I mean it was just the one big umbrella that I had in my car. I just don't know who has it.
Yeah, but like it's infinitely better than those convenience store umbrellas.
Yes,
that
anything
you
is better
buy.
than the convenience store
because
umbrellas.
they're really flimsy. They're made of like really thin plastic.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where today's tidbit begins.
Convenience store umbrellas?
Umbrellas.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you know that around 40 million umbrellas are thrown away every year in South Korea?
I am not surprised.
Just in South Korea.
I'm not surprised because people be buying those cheap convenience store umbrellas
And then
during the monsoon season.
And then throwing away them everywhere.
Yep, because it's cheap. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's a shocking number. The 40
Yeah.
million is a lot, to be honest with you.
And it's easy to underestimate how wasteful it is, really. Umbrellas might seem like disposable items, but they're actually made with plastic, metal, and nylon. And all of those materials generate carbon emissions during production and are hard to recycle after disposal.
So we should be more green and not use an umbrella?
No. So that's where the local governments in Korea are stepping in. Take Seoul's Gangdong-gu district, for example. They've been operating an umbrella repair center
Oh, wow.
since 2012, and it's been busy. As of April this year, over 31,000 people have visited, and nearly 50,000 umbrellas and parasols have been given a second life.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so then who does the actual repair of the umbrellas?
The center hires trained workers from the local self-sufficiency center. They undergo 12 hours of professional training, and with just 10 minutes of work, they can fix many common umbrella problems like, bent spokes or broken buttons. And even better, they use parts from discarded umbrellas to do the repair, so it's very eco-friendly.
I wonder though, how much like it would cost and stuff like that. Because I feel like some people, they'll be like, oh, maybe it's just cheaper to buy a new one.
I know some centers offer it for free.
Oh, that's good.
And, if they really need to change parts, it's cheaper than buying a new one.
Okay,
Yes.
that's a big one. So it's very efficient and sustainable
Yes,
as well.
and it's also meaningful. One repair technician said it gives them pride knowing they're helping both the planet and the community. And residents love it too. One woman reportedly walked 35 minutes just to have her umbrella repaired. Maybe it was her favorite umbrella.
Yes.
Yeah, and she said it felt wasteful to throw it away, and she's glad she could fix it instead.
Yeah, okay, so this is good because even like small actions can add up. And that's the big
Yes.
thing that we talk about when it comes to trying to be more green and making a difference with the climate
Exactly.
issues right now.
Exactly, and this idea is spreading. In Seoul's Seocho-gu, there's a mobile umbrella repair service called 바퀴 달린 서초. It's literally a bus that drives around fixing umbrellas for people.
Oh, a bus.
Yes, and people can check the mobile umbrella repair service's schedule to see when it might visit their neighborhood.
Socho has a lot of buses. they got like buses for everything. I
Yeah.
realized they got like what is it? I seen one that passed by was bathing elderly.
Oh.
I don't know if you've ever heard about that. And then there's the library in wheels or something like that.
And they even offer knife sharpening on the bus.
At the bus?
Yes, so residents can bring dull kitchen knives and get them sharpened for just 1,000
That's
won.
it?
Yes, about 75 cents. The idea is to encourage people to reuse things they might normally throw away. And one 72-year-old resident said that these small habits like fixing umbrellas or sharpening knives are the first steps in protecting the environment.
All right, just before we continue on here, because Na Penjun says you're talking about going green, and we both have takeout coffee. It was given to us. Someone bought it for us. Okay, that's what it was.
It
And
was a
usually,
gift.
she usually has tumbler.
Yeah.
Yeah, she usually has a tumbler. I never
Aw.
use a tumbler, but it was given to me.
You never use a tumbler?
Tumbler. Tumbler.
Yes.
Tumbler. But anyways,
Yes.
let's go back again. Little things here and there make a
Yes.
huge impact.
Yes, and there's also a grassroots effort happening in places like Mangwon-dong in Seoul at a community space called 수리상점 곰손 or Repair Cafe 곰손. 곰손 means like people who aren't really efficient with their hands.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
a komson.
Yes, and every week people gather to repair umbrellas together at this cafe. There's even a team called Ho-Ho, named after the Korean word for heavy rain, Ho,
Oh,
to raise awareness about climate change.
I was about to say, what you call me? That sounds kind of fun
Yeah,
though.
and it's very educational as well. The leader teaches people not just how to fix umbrellas, but how to take care of them. And they say to avoid vinyl umbrellas altogether because they're nearly impossible to repair or reuse. And on the other hand, traditional umbrellas can be repaired and their parts reused, like his words, not mine, transplanting organs.
Wait, hold on, time out. So I had like a pretty good. I usually use a golf umbrella
Yeah, those
because
are very
it's wider.
sturdy and wide.
So that's not vinyl. What is that made out of?
So nylon.
Nylon.
Yes.
Okay, so nylon's okay.
Yes, and
Vinyl's no good.
vinyl because it rips, it's done.
True.
Nylon you can sew it back together or
Yeah.
it's repairable. And yeah, and the club also has a slogan. It might be worth remembering. 살살 펴고 바짝 말려 고이 접어 오래오래. Open gently, dry completely, fold carefully, and use for a long time.
Yeah, which is why if you go to like office spaces, right, and then after they come out from the rain, they all dry their umbrellas. It's like
Yes.
out open, right? But again, I do hope this encourages more people out there to fix your umbrellas instead of throwing away, because 40 million umbrellas are being thrown away. But we're going to continue to talk about I guess umbrellas
Or
today.
the rainy season.
Or the rainy season. But what song are we going to listen to today?
Here's 투명 우산 or Transparent Umbrella by Shiny.
That was Shiny with 투명 우산. And apparently the English titles Don't Let Me Go. And it kind of makes sense. And I think Napensu made a very good point here. Just like the 투명 우산 and the transparent umbrellas that we used to be able to buy apparently at the convenience stores. You know how you throw it away easily? So
And they're like, don't let me go.
don't throw me away like an umbrella.
Don't hurt the earth.
Do you think this was a green song? They were thinking about
You
themselves.
can make it green.
Okay, fine. Go get your Tumblr. We're back here. We're talking about umbrellas. 40 million umbrellas being thrown away every year here in Korea. But let's zoom out a bit here. What's the bigger picture?
Well, that would be Korea's rainy season, 장마. It's a uniquely East Asian weather pattern where a stationary front called 장마전선 in Korean lingers over the peninsula, bringing days or even weeks of constant rain. It usually starts in late June and can last through mid-July.
There was a couple of years ago where it lasted way past that.
Yes.
We had like the longest monsoon season a few years ago, and it was the worst.
Yeah, and it has already begun in South Korea, so it's a week early, I would say.
It's not just a drizzle. I remember last year, I mentioned this I think last
Yes.
week. It was so much rain. I really could not see
Yeah.
anything in front of me. I
Yeah.
thought I thought I was gonna die. I really did.
Like climate change has in fact made the 장마 more unpredictable and more severe. Flash floods, sudden downpours, and even infrastructure damage are becoming more common. In the past, 장마 meant consistent, gentle rain, but now it's more like a weather roller coaster where you get suddenly
Yeah.
downpours and then
Like
sunny
today.
skies. Like today, yeah.
Today was like raining like no tomorrow, and all of a sudden it's all sunny outside.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we said, that roller coaster of that volatile weather pattern we keep talking about, it's already here.
Exactly. According to the Korean Meteorological Administration on Sunday, this year's rainy season began around June 13th with heavy rainfall in the southern regions. Jeju-do Island saw over 250 millimeters of rain.
Jeez.
And in Busan, 61.2 millimeters fell in just 1 hour, marking the heaviest June rainfall since records began in 1904.
What about in other areas?
Well, today we saw heavy rain. We saw heavy rain return nationwide after a weekend of high temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius in the inland region. So yesterday it was almost 32 degrees. But then it rained in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing that. And the KMA further cautioned people nationwide of sudden downpours and flash floods throughout the summer season.
Kai over in Doncaster says, maybe they're experiencing British weather. Is this British? No, I don't think British.
I don't think it's that humid in England.
Yeah, and like the rain there, it's like constant drizzle maybe. Here
Yeah.
it's like torrential downpours.
You
like
can't see.
No, it really
Yeah.
can't. So this isn't just a climate issue. I mean, it's safety because we often
Yes.
talk about unfortunate incidents that happen because of
Yes.
these during the monsoon
Yeah,
season.
and experts are warning that this year's 장마 could bring extreme rainfalls of over 100 millimeters per hour, especially due to unstable air patterns. And what's worse, areas like Gyeongsangbuk-do province that experienced wildfires earlier this year are now vulnerable to landslides because their tree roots were destroyed, and that weakens the soil. So extra caution and prevention measures are needed in those areas.
So I know we talk about this every year, how the past summer was the hottest on record and things like that. It seems like both rain and heat, it's going to hit really hard this summer.
We already got a taste of it, right, during the weekend.
Yeah.
But the KMA also predicts that temperatures from now through August will be higher than average every month. And that's why local governments in Seoul are already implementing contingency plans.
Okay, so tell us about some of the contingency plans.
Well, some districts have launched a comprehensive heat wave response system with 29 initiatives, including operating nearly 600 heat reduction facilities like shade structures and air-conditioned smart bus shelters. Over 160 cooling benches will help maintain temperatures at 28 degrees Celsius, which is pretty high, but compared to 35 degrees, which we see, it's very cool.
So it's interesting you mentioned this because the bus stop right across the street from my house,
Yeah.
They recently did a renovation. where it is like the shelter. It used to be just like a bench and then something over it, but now it seems like a booth.
Yeah,
kind of
it's
a
a
thing.
booth. So if you go in, it's like cool air
Yeah, yeah,
comes
yeah.
outside. Yeah.
And so, like, also before, during like the winter time, when you have to wait for the bus, I
get
noticed that
heated
there was a heated benches. Now you got you got
Yeah.
cooling benches now.
South Korea is next level.
That's good stuff. And I
Yeah.
also appreciate whoever was the first person to implement this. You know, at like the crosswalks,
Yeah.
you have like the parasol.
Oh yeah.
That makes a huge difference.
Tangbae Station has one of those. I think, like it's very good because, because of the high heat and high temperature in South Korea, a lot of people actually faint because of the high heat.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, these measures are needed. And many districts are also focusing on flood prevention.
Oh, this is important.
Yes, they're inspecting storm drains, reinforcing underground roadways, and checking on vulnerable households. Gangnam-gu district, which actually suffered from floods a few years back, has installed smart manhole water sensors linked to a real-time flood alert system. And in Kwanok-gu, also another area that was impacted, they're working to reduce flood risks in areas like Shillim by expanding drainage and pre-deploying flood barriers.
So I guess that makes durable umbrellas even more important than.
Yes, not just durable, but reusable as well.
Yeah.
It's about building habits that match the reality of our climate crisis. And remember, discarded umbrellas in Korea alone contribute to nearly 2.7 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions, and that's equivalent to the annual emissions of around 200,000 people.
Wow.
Putting it in numbers, it's actually really huge.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. And, these days, vinyl umbrellas can be cheaper than coffee. And just as disposable. I'm sorry for using a disposable cup today. But if we can shift how we think about value, not in just in terms of price, but in, environmental cost, I think that could lead to real change.
Yeah, and which again brings us back to fixing umbrellas and buying new ones, right?
Yes. It's simple, it's doable, and it works. And, since the rain isn't going anywhere, maybe, invest in a good umbrella.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes I know you get desperate and then like you're caught in a rain and so you go to the convenience store and buy these. Apparently, the transparent umbrellas are no longer on sale anymore. That I used to buy for 2001. It's like
you can't buy
7,000
that.
now.
Yeah.
And they still look flimsy. Invest in a good umbrella. They're good
Yes.
stuff out there. I recommend golf umbrellas. Those things
Those are too heavy,
Those
though.
are ginormous. Angela, good stuff here. Very, very informative, especially with the monsoon season here in Korea. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you again tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Sending her out of the studio, let's take a listen to a song here from Beast with On Rainy Days, 비가 오는 날엔.
요즘 나 너무 외로워 좀 이상해진 것 같아 널 보면서 심장이 뛴다 Pick it up, pick it up, pick it so 있어 두근거렸던 게 문제야 만약 그게 대체 왜 죄야 선을 넘은 거야 it's later 너랑 얘기를 내게 뱉자 Moving through 어느 날 떨어진 거야 둘만 남게 됐다면 너무 딸것 같아 생각만 해도 무섭다 얼굴 찌푸렸지만 너에게 얘기 못해 잘 들어 살짝 설렜어 난 이 꿈이 말 c'est avec toi. I do. 도착한 carnival. 핑크빛 설레임. So curious, so fabulous. Like a roller coaster. 근데 왜 뚝딱대? 빌려온 고양이 같아. 보름 rush, 맘은 rush. 심장 안에 댔지만 찌릿찌릿 feels so shy. My heart starts to dance. Do a little, do a little dance. Do a little dance. Do ya wanna dance? 대답은 하나뿐. Say yeah, yes. Dance 손을 잡은 채 do it, 너와 나의 date. 마법에 걸리게 say yeah. 내가 아닐까 네 맘속 그 아이 덜바짝 세워 feel you MMO 알듯 말듯 amo So curious 난 불안했어 Like a roller coaster 나답지 않잖아 내 끄덕이세요 그게 내 필살기 밤이다 시작된 화려한 parade show 너와 함께 Dance do a little do a little dance do a little dance do ya wanna dance 대답은 하나뿐 say yeah yes dance 손을 잡은 채 do it 너와 나의 date 마법에 걸리게 say
The Culture Inc. We're not listed on the stock exchange, but the value of K-Culture to the moon.
Coffee break. Today's tidbit.
All right, it's time for our weekdays coffee break. Today's tidbit, and joining us in the studio, our honorary Yorkshire Angela Ayup.
Ayup.
Apparently, according to Kai, you have the best Ayup in all of Arirang.
Oh, thank you.
That's, I mean, of all the compliments you could receive in your life,
I'm good at a Yorkshire accent.
of all the things you could be the best at in Arirang, the best Ayup.
It's not even the Yorkshire accent. I'm just good at two words. It's
Ayup.
not even words. I'm good at enunciating something.
Ayup.
Ayup.
What was going on? We have a lot of British listeners, I just want to say, and then we pick up a lot. But my British accent is terrible, as you know. What's our tidbit today, Angela?
Well, today's a special day for us all.
It is very special.
Happy 100
Yeah.
days. Yay! Although I do have yet to share 100 tidbits with everyone.
That's true.
Yes, because I don't come out on the weekends.
You want to do weekends?
Yeah, so, I thought we could talk about like numbers, why 100 is such a significant number. So,
All right.
yeah.
That's cool stuff out there. All right, let's talk about the 100 days.
So in Korea, the 100-day mark has long been seen as a moment worth celebrating, especially when it comes to newborns. So it's called 백일잔치, or the 100-day celebration for a baby.
Yes.
Did you have one for your children?
So we didn't do anything special. We did a small 백일잔치, right? Because I mean, it's just too much work. It really is. And especially because if you know the origins of it, like you go like, do we really have to do 백일잔치? But let's talk about the origins. Why people actually do the 백일잔치 or the 100-day celebrations?
Well, it actually has deep roots in Korea's traditional customs. A long time ago, infant mortality was very high, so if a baby made it to 100 days, it was seen as surviving the most dangerous period. So families would throw a celebration to thank the gods and wish for continued health and longevity.
Yeah, so even still now, we always say that when you have a newborn, you have to be careful up until the 100 days
Yes.
because you just never know what's going to happen, right? And so like after 100 days, a lot of things happen, a lot of milestones, by the way. It's also when babies finally do the long sleep.
Oh.
Because before that, you do like every 2 hours they wake up and then stuff like
I
that.
also heard 100 has to do with it. That's the period it takes for mothers to actually recover.
Oh, really?
After childbirth, so it's also a celebration for the mother, and you can actually see it in the customs. So traditionally, the day starts with setting up a samshin table. So samshin is like the god of like childbirth and woman. So a small altar with seaweed soup and white rice is set up. The baby's mother or grandmother prays in front of it, asking the samshin for health and blessings. And as we all Koreans know, a seaweed soup is, the must for mothers who have just had a child.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like for every day for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yes.
That's all they do. Because it's supposed to be very good for cleansing all the bad stuff. And so this is all very symbolic.
Yes, and afterwards the pigir table is decorated with colorful rice cakes, fruit, and white thread and rice. White thread, representing long life and fortune. And families also prepare pigir 떡, or they used to, 100-day rice cakes, and share them with neighbors.
Yeah, you don't see that as much anymore, but yes, most. I know, like some, like Seong was actually very good at doing that. She'd always like distribute the pigir 떡.
And I think, our main writer said, like, should we have pigir 떡? And she joked about it. And yeah, so it is a custom that is still around. And there's even a saying that the more people who eat the rice cakes you give out, the longer the baby will live. Because it's rice. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry guys. My kids. So I didn't give out any pigir 떡s. But yeah, I mean, again, these are things that people
Yeah.
believed in.
Yeah.
But do people still do celebrate the 100 days and all that stuff?
So as we mentioned, it's more modest.
Yeah.
And some parents just take professional photos or have a quiet meal with a close family. But the meaning behind it is still very much alive.
So speaking of 백일잔치, the big one is the 돌잔치,
Yes.
which is the 1-year celebration.
Exactly. So we did briefly discuss it on the Culture Inc. before, but when the baby turns 1 year old, Koreans have a 돌잔치, or first birthday party. Historically, this was the true test for survival. If a baby reached 1 year, people believed they would likely live on, so it became a really huge celebration.
Yeah, so you might be going, come on, 1 year, but even my mom told me that I was supposed to have another aunt. She had a younger sister, a baby sister, and didn't make past the first year. And so this was something that was very normal. And she was saying that it was so normal back in the days, unfortunately, that my grandmother wasn't even that sad. Like she was sad, but not like oh my goodness, why is this happening? Like it was happening so much at the time.
That in itself is sad.
Yeah, but I've always wondered though, why door? Like rock?
No. 돌 is the native Korean measure for a child's age.
Oh.
So you say 첫 돌. That means, first
Year, like the
year.
rotation,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. And of course, when we talk about 돌잔치, we can't leave out 돌잡이. During 돌잡이, different items are placed in front of the baby, like a pencil, a money, stethoscope, or a microphone. Whichever one the baby grabs is believed to predict their future career. We also discussed this on the show before, I believe.
Did your parents ever tell you what you grabbed?
Yeah, so my mom told me. I asked my mom before the show, and she said I was quite greedy and eager. So I chose 3 things. I chose a pencil, a microphone, and a gavel.
Angela, that's kind of crazy.
Why?
Because isn't that your life right now?
Yeah, it is.
All three things.
I have yet to accomplish a gavel, but I'm hoping, I have my fingers crossed, so.
I mean, I don't want to get into it, but I mean, if you know what she's doing right now, that's all three that's going on. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
okay.
but like this, it's just a fun moment for families and, a good photo op. And nowadays, some families even include modern items like a camera or, I don't know, coding book.
Coding book.
A lot of IT is big, AI is big, so yeah.
Okay. How is 100 seen across other cultures though? Like, is it mostly unique to Korea though?
Korea's 100-day celebration is pretty distinct, but interestingly, Japan has something similar called okuijume. And in China, there are also customs around the 100th day, but Korea's Pegir and 돌잔치 are quite unique in terms of how formalized and, widely practiced they are still today. And it also has become more important than the 환갑잔치 these days.
환갑잔치. It's something also that less and less people are doing.
Yes.
Let's talk about 환갑.
So 환갑 is the 60th birthday celebration. In the past, this was also a big milestone because people didn't live that long. But with people living longer now, the 60th birthday isn't as symbolic anymore. And because of Korea's low birth rate, celebrating a baby's first year, like Pekir or Tor, is seen as even more precious. So we can see how these celebrations and numbers are adjusting to modern times.
Yeah, 환갑's pretty cool too. Also, if you look into like the what is it? The animal. What is that called? Not the horoscope.
Oh, the...
D. What do you call D? All of a sudden,
Oh
I
my
can't.
god, I suddenly can't remember. 60.
No. So like D. What's D in English? Like what your animal symbol
yeah.
is, right? And so like for 60 years,
Yeah,
it makes a full-on rotation.
Yeah.
Because like each animal has like 5 different kinds of animals,
Yes.
right? So like my son was born basically when my mother-in-law was turning 60, and so they're both golden pigs.
Oh,
So that's the road.
that's cool.
Yeah, that's a little tidbit there. Anyways, as we are celebrating 100 days, we're talking about the significance in some of the numbers here in our Korean culture. We're going to talk more about this, but first we're going to take a listen to a song. Is it just because it's 100 days?
Yes.
Okay. This is Kisum with 100%. Kisum, 100%. Because 100 days. I was kind of scratching my head. I was like, what is Yangurum and Hiro saying the whole time? They kept on saying belt. And then I realized, I said, what's D? Like Chinese zodiac, what's D in English? And they said belt, because belt is also D. Oh my, 2 ajes. 2 ajes at the same time, simultaneously belt. Hiro is rabbit belt. Tokiti. I'm tiger belt. Goodness. Rat belt. 100 days. Pegirjanchi, we've been talking about this. But again, let's talk about why Koreans place so much emphasis on 100. Is it because, and also like, parents, why didn't you get 100 on your exam?
Yeah.
What is 95? What is 95? It's an ugly number. Why 100? Is it a survival thing?
Well, that's a big part of it, but there's also cultural symbolism. So 100 has long stood for wholeness and achievement in Korea. For instance, in the Tangun myth, Korea's founding myth, Unryo has to wait 100 days until she turns human.
No.
Yeah, so it shows how in traditional thought 100 means something is full or complete, and, which explains also why Koreans love getting 100 on test scores.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get 100? Or did you make your parents proud?
No. And then if you do get 100, they go, how come you didn't get extra credit and get 110? Stuff like that. That's Korean parents
Like a
for you.
true Asian parent.
But also Koreans seem to like the number 3 a lot. And I noticed it shows up a lot in like Korean folklores, right? Like what's the story behind the number 3?
Well, so the number 3 symbolizes balance and completion. It represents the harmony of heaven, earth, and humans.
The triangle. The triangle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But also, like in Chinese characters, 1 and 2 together is 3, and it's supposed to be like the ground and sky, and together it's like, harmony.
Okay.
And again, in the Tangun myth, Tangun descends from heaven with 3 divine objects and is accompanied by 3 ministers, wind, rain, and cloud. So we see it repeatedly in, folklore.
So like it's not just random storytelling, that it actually has like deep cultural pattern.
Yeah, and it's also common to find, 3 trials, 3 siblings, 3 magical items in Korean folktales. Even in games, we use 3 chances, like 삼세판, or, best out of 3. Yeah, whenever you do rock, paper, scissors, it's never one. It's always 삼세판. And shamans shout out 신봤다 3 times when finding wild ginseng to make it officially theirs. So, it's really deeply embedded in Korean culture.
Now, this I know. While 3 is a good number.
Yes.
4,
Yes.
however, on the flip side, is a very unlucky number here in Korea.
Right. So 4 is generally avoided because it sounds like the Korean word for death, 사, in not only Korean but also Chinese and Japanese. That's why in hospitals or hotels you might notice there's no 4th floor, or it's labeled as F instead for 4. The aversion to 4 is really widespread across East Asia.
Yeah, just like if you go to the US, sometimes the building skips 13th floor.
Yeah.
Like the 13th floor is called 14th floor and stuff like that. Here is F,
Yes.
right? And so there's this whole numerology woven into culture and tradition.
Exactly. It's really embedded in how Koreans see milestones, balance, and life cycles.
What are some important numbers? I'm kind of curious because every culture I feel like has their significant
Yes.
number. Let's talk about other cultures.
Well, in China, 8 is considered extremely lucky because it sounds like fa, which means to make money. That's why the 2008 Beijing Olympics started at 8 p.m., 8 minutes, 8 seconds on August 8th to triple the luck. It's very superstitious, but numbers have that power over certain cultures.
That's why I think I remember seeing this. The most expensive, I think it's on the Guinness Book of Records, the most expensive license plate number that was ever sold in China was number 8.
Yeah.
It was 8.
It's not surprising.
But what about the West?
So in the U.S., 7 is, widely seen as a lucky number. It has religious roots. After the creating the world in 6 days, God rested on the 7th, making it a holy day. That spiritual association turned 7 into a symbol of luck. And on the flip side, 6 and 13, as you mentioned, are both seen as unlucky. 6 is sometimes called the number of the devil.
666,
Yes,
right?
and 13 is linked to misfortune because, Jesus was crucified on the 13th day according to Christian belief. But guess what? It's a lucky number in Italy.
What's the story there?
So in Italy, 13 is a lucky number. It's actually tied to a national sports betting game where you need to correctly predict the outcome of 13 matches to win. That turned the number 13 into a symbol of good fortune there.
I mean, if you're gambling like that, they might go broke, and 13 might actually be a bad number. So luck really depends on where you are.
Yeah, and speaking of Italy, I thought this was fun. Their unlucky number is 17. So that's the reason behind that is when written in Roman numerals, 17 can be rearranged to form the Latin word vixi, which means I have lived. And that phrase is often found on tombstones. So the number came to be associated with death, like how Koreans see the number 4.
I mean, that's kind of stretching it, to be honest with you.
Why? It's Vixi.
Because you're rearranging it, and there's other things that you could rearrange to make
I
it into
suppose.
Vixi. But okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a great deep dive, not just on the number 100, but other numbers in other cultures as well. All right, Angela, as one of our listeners, I forgot who it was, who said 100 days would not have been possible. Bruce says, you're a big part of King's success. We appreciate it, Angela.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Even though she wasn't on air for 100 days. We'll do her separate 100 days. I guess we'll do math. We just won't ask Ajon to do the counting. As we say goodbye to Angela, we're going to be playing a song that was requested by Hito, who said this song would have been good. This is Rula with 100일째 만남 100 Days.
Just come over and bite me. Come here and get some. 널 참이할 사이게. 그게 내 숙명. Just come over and bite me. It's you and me in this world. 내게로 다시 왔다며.
Coffee break. Today's tidbit.
All right, it's time for our coffee break. Today's tidbit, and joining us in the studio, as she always does, Angela. Angela, hello to you.
Hi, SJ.
Angela, we have a chance. Okay,
Yes.
this is going to be pretty cool. I know our voices, our show.
Yeah.
Here on Arirang Radio, all of us, we go out to many different parts of the world.
Yes.
Kai is basically, he's left the windows open. There's a bunch of people outside the window in Yorkshire. And they're going to hear Ayup from Korea. Ayup, Ayup,
Ayo.
Ayup from Korea, Ayup from Seoul. That's it.
Why did it sound like Borat again?
What do you mean I sound like Borat? Ayup,
Ayo.
Ayup from Korea.
How's it going?
How's it going? What? Why? Do I really sound like Borat?
Yes.
Oh man, how do I get rid of that? Anyways,
Yeah.
what's our tip in today?
Well, it's not accents.
Okay.
I think it'll be fun to talk about
Yeah,
that one
yeah,
day.
sure,
yeah,
sure.
but it's related to music.
Oh, okay.
Imagine your playlist is like mostly full of 90s
90s, 2000.
club music.
Yeah. 90s, 2000
Yeah.
club music.
Do you ever listen to classical music?
Oh, no. But I mean,
Oh, never.
I wouldn't sit there and listen to classic music.
Oh, really?
No. I
Yeah, I
think I
remember
would.
you mentioned like you fell asleep during.
Nutcracker.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is classical music.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't do it. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm just uncultured. I can't do classical music. I like canon. I like canon.
Pahabel,
What?
the composer.
Oh.
Yes, today's my day to put you on the
Okay.
spot.
So, but what about you though? Do you listen to classical music?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't discriminate.
Sure.
Like I love piano concertos by Rachmaninoff. I love Bach.
Ooh, Bach.
Bach. And I also listen to Maria Callas sometimes. Mm-hmm. I love a rendition of La Vallee. Have you ever heard of any of it?
The La Wali?
La Vallee.
La Vallée.
It's an opera, not a number. It's in an opera. So today's tip is going to be related to classical music.
Okay, go ahead.
And we're diving into the world of classical music and more specifically Korea's two biggest legends of the genre. This weekend, soprano Cho Soo-mi and conductor Jung Myung-un are both taking the stage for two landmark performances in Korea.
Okay, these are big names.
Yes.
These are big names.
Have you heard of them?
Of course. Come on now. Come on. Of course I've heard of
You've
them.
never heard of Pahabel.
No, I mean, I've heard, of course. And then Cho Soo-mi also, she's recently been recognized with a very, very
That's what we're going to talk
distinguished
about. Yes.
honor, right?
Yes, you're right. Both have recently made international waves. But yeah, let's start with Cho Soo-mi. Just last month in Paris, she was awarded the Commandeur of the French Order of Arts and Letters, the highest possible rank in that system.
She's a legend already.
Yes.
But to put another accolade on her long list of resumes, this is incredible.
Yes. And, it's given to people who've made exceptional contributions to the arts and to promoting French culture globally. So it's really massive for a Korean artist to receive it.
So did she just receive? Is it just for her singing abilities?
Well, not just that, though her voice is, of course, very legendary. The award is given to her decades-long work in Europe, especially in France, that caught attention. She's performed in major opera houses, recorded French repertoire, and worked closely with cultural institutions like UNESCO. And when she received the award, she made it very clear. She said she accepted it not just for herself, but as a proud Korean.
What do you like? As in how though?
At the press conference in Seoul, she wore the medal and said, "This isn't just my honor, it's Korea's." She talked about how hard it was to be a Korean classical artist in the 80s.
Very true.
Yes. She even shared a story about being detained at airports early in her career because people didn't recognize her South Korean passport.
Oh, a long time ago, like in the 80s is when I believe people started kind of traveling
Yes,
abroad.
exactly.
But because, again, now we say South Korea. I mean, everybody knows South Korea as a country. It was very rare, though, for people from South Korea to travel abroad.
Yes.
And it was the visa process. Now we have the second most powerful visa in the world. But back then it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm not surprised that she had to go through all this. But what is she performing this time around?
So after receiving her award, she's going to do a national tour titled The Magic Sumijo and Winners. The winners are the young singers she handpicked from the first 조수미 국제 성악 콩쿠르 or Sumijo International Vocal Competition held in Paris last year. She'll share the stage with them in major cities like Jeonju, Chuncheon, and Seoul. And her Seoul concert is this Saturday, the 22nd at Lotte Concert Hall.
Yeah, I mean, I saw her what is it? I don't know why, but her Instagram feed popped up, and she's traveling right now. She was going to all these places, and I think she took a picture in Jeonju somewhere with like the Hanok village, and she was talking about how nice it is to be back in Korea and to be back and be in Jeonju in a very traditional. And she was like in like the Hanok village or something like that. But what else does she have planned though while she's here?
Well, next year marks her 40th debut anniversary. Oh, wait, I mean, yeah, that's big, right? So she's planning a huge Chosumi festival, so to speak. It will blend classical music, Korean traditional singing, K-pop, and musical theater all in one.
Wow.
Yeah, and she also hinted at a new album that will include some widely loved Korean songs like 나 가거든, which we also played on the coffee break. That's the original soundtrack from 명성황후.
Oh, so good.
Yes.
I remember. Yes.
Empress Myeongsong. And she apparently even sang a song for the 2002 World Cup. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes, the song Champions will also be in that album.
That was, I believe, like the entrance song. So for our football fans out there, if you guys ever heard like the UEFA Champions, the iconic UEFA Champions League songs that comes out, right? She did kind of that rendition for the 2002 World, not rendition, like something very similar to it. So it was like an entrance music to the 2002 World Cup, and I
see.
still remember perfect voice.
Yes.
Really, she is perfect to be singing a song like this because, again, it was a very special moment to 2002 World Cup. But again, this is definitely not your average soprano project.
Yes, but Josumi has never really been average.
Nope.
Josumi also says she finds joy in helping others, and she's always been the type to charge ahead fearlessly, which explains all her, new projects and her vocal competition she's holding. So we have that to look forward to, like what she's going to do in the future.
Yeah, I have to say though, I'm really looking forward to, because you were talking about her 40th anniversary.
Yes.
She's planning a festival there. Classical music, I mean, we've heard a lot. Korean traditional singing, I feel like we've heard that a lot. But
Yes.
K-pop, I wonder what K-pop songs.
Do you know a lot of K-pop actually incorporates classical music into their music?
I know why, because it's no copyrights.
Well,
it's free.
that too.
It's free to
Like
say- it's free to
if
sample.
it's after 50 years, it's mostly free. But
Yeah.
also, some music actually uses opera or like opera singing, like Josumi does. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to that.
Oh, you mean like the singing
yeah.
Oh,
they
okay. I thought
actually
you meant
use
like the
that.
music.
They-
Okay.
I mean the music as well, but
Yeah.
also the singing skills.
I wonder what song would be nice for her to sing. What K-pop song? Hype Boy. No.
Hype boy.
Ditto. Ditto be on that. Ditto be.
I would like to hear that.
Oh, come on, think about it. Ditto in Josumi voice. That'd
Yeah.
be nice. So she'll be on stage this week, and you're also going to be talking about Chung Myung-hoon, right?
Yes, let's talk about him right after a short break.
Okay. Is there a reason why you chose Blackpink Shutdown?
Yeah, so Shutdown actually incorporates classical music in its a song. It uses La Campanella.
Oh.
So try to hear it in the song.
I have no idea what you just said, but let's take a listen. Blackpink with Shutdown.
Blackpink in your area. Blackpink in your area. 컴백이 아니던 난 적 없으니까 고개들이 돌아 진정에 못 걷길라 분홍빛의 얼음 drip 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 freezing on the side shut it down whoa 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 게임이 아니야 진적이 없으니까 지저분이 목에 먹줄은 내 거니까 땅바닥에 단패로 we go 205 shut it down 초록빛을 내려 머리 위로 don't trip baby 겸손하게 그냥 앉아있어 just sit baby praying for my downfall many have tried baby catch me when you hit my Lamborghini go vroom 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 when we pull up you know it's a shutdown 간판 내리고 문 잠가 shutdown whip it 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 it's black and it's pink once the sundown when we pull up you know it's a shutdown 간판 내리고 문 잠궈 shutdown whip it 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 keep watching me shut it down
Blackpink in your area.
Ayo.
Ayo. Blackpink in your area. Ayo. Something is. Something's wrong with us. I think we've been Yorkshireized.
Yorkshireized.
Everything we hear is Ayo. I'm pretty sure they said Ayo.
Is it the English conquest again?
No, oh my goodness, you guys are taking over again. Time for the Boston Tea Party.
But like just in the song we heard, La Campanella was used in the song, and that is actually one of the most difficult piano songs to
Oh,
play.
is it really?
Yes. So yeah, you know something.
Yeah, yes, I do. And you're going to ask me tomorrow. I'll probably not even be able to say it again. Let's talk about Chung Myung-hoon.
Yes.
What's the story with our conductor, Chung Myung-hoon?
Well, conductor Chung Myung-hoon is very famous, right? He is a pianist as well as a composer, and he became famous because in the late 70s, he was the first Korean to win the Tchaikovsky concours.
Wow.
And he's been just appointed the music director of Italy's Teatro alla Scala, the world's most iconic opera house, and that makes him the first Asian to ever hold that position in its 247-year history.
I know this because I read the news. It was a big deal.
Yes.
Like, it was a big deal.
Yes.
I remember reading about it. I remember writing about it. This was a big deal. But let's talk about why La Scala is so famous.
Well, to opera lovers, it's considered the Vatican of opera. It's where Puccini's Madama Butterfly premiered, so it's a big place. Maria Callas, I mentioned her earlier, also sang there. And, Pavarotti.
Oh, I love
You
Luciano
know that
Pavarotti.
name. You know that name.
Of course,
yes.
the four tenors, yeah.
Yes, he sang there as well. So it's really sacred ground for classical music.
And now, a Korean conductor is leading it.
Yes. Chung has had a long relationship with La Scala. He's conducted over 80 operas and 140 concerts there since the late 80s. But this new role means he'll now oversee everything from casting and programming to international tours even.
So here's the thing now. Classical music, I don't know the industry very well.
Yes.
But I would assume that it would be very traditional.
It's
okay.
conservative.
Okay, conservative.
Yes.
All right, that's a very much better word.
Yes.
It's very conservative. Now, you talked about Italy's Teatro alla Scala being 247 years old.
Yes.
To have not just a Korean, an Asian conductor. Was it a controversial choice?
Well, at first, yes. Some people did call it really shocking, but the Milan city government and La Scala's board were all in full support. They praised Chung as one of the most beloved artists among Milanese audiences and a global authority on Verdi as well.
Yeah.
So, there's no one can really contradict him being the director.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
I think, again, it doesn't matter which race you're from, which country you're from, and things like that, as long as you have the talent.
Yeah, as long as you're professional.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I think if you look at some of his accolades and some of the prestigious awards that he's been able to garner, for him to lead the Teatro alla Scala, I mean,
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yes.
It's huge, and it's good for the theater as well. What's he doing back in Korea though?
So he is currently the artistic director of Classic Busan, and next week on June 27th and 28th, he is conducting Beethoven's Fidelio at the new Busan Concert Hall. It will be the closing act of their grand opening festival.
Okay, and what's the Fidelio all about? Fidelio. Fidelio.
Yes, Fidelio is Beethoven's only opera ever. It's about justice, love, and human dignity. Basically, a woman named Leonore disguises herself as a man named Fidelio to rescue her husband from prison. And the opera carries message of hope and moral courage. Chung said that's why he chose it. And also because it's one of the few works where music truly speaks to the essence of humanity.
Oh, and so I'm going to assume then,
Yes.
with someone like Chung leading the way,
Yes.
the cast must be top tier.
Also, yes, definitely. Classical enthusiasts were really looking forward to this because world-renowned tenors and sopranos are taking part in it. And also the orchestra is the Asia Philharmonic, and the chorus includes both the Busan Metropolitan Chorus and Korea's National Chorus. So it is a huge collaborative effort, and it will serve as a preview of what we can expect when the Busan Opera House opens in 2027.
Okay. Oh, my apologies, Bruce. You're right. It's 3 tenors, not 4 tenors. That's right. There was Jose Carreras, Placido Domingo, and Luciano Pavarotti. No, I'm just reading what he wrote.
Well, it's like, you know classical music.
No, I know Placido Domingo and Luciano Pavarotti, but I forgot the other name, Jose Carreras. Bruce, thank you very much for that. It's the 3 tenors, not 4. Going back here,
Yes.
there's going to be a new opera house?
Yes, and Jung even hinted that La Scala might be the first to perform there.
Huh.
So yeah, it's a full circle moment. Korea sent its best to the world, and the best are coming back to Korea.
You know what? I hope this works out. I do hope this works out because I know that there was a push for an opera house
Yes.
in Seoul. It didn't work out very well. But Busan, perfect, right? Right by. I hope it's gonna be by the ocean, maybe.
Well, Busan is by the ocean, so
No, like as in like the opera house, like right near the ocean.
like Cindy,
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
like Australia.
Yes, like that. That's what I meant.
Yes.
But it'll be cool. 2027 is when it's opening. But is there anything else happening in the classical scene that I should know about?
Yes. Next month, pianist 손여름 is leading a special performance. I really love her performances. And the performance is called 손여름 Going Home Project, 라벨 실내악 시리즈, or 손여름 and Going Home Project, the Ravel Chamber series. It'll be held on July 4th and 5th and features chamber music by Maurice Ravel, performed by a global lineup of musicians. So if anyone is interested, please do check that out.
And is this a part of a bigger program that they're running?
Yes, it's under the Gangdong Art Center GAC Classical Series, which runs throughout the year and features solo recitals, chamber works, and other innovative programming. And they're really trying to redefine what classical concerts can look and feel like. So I think it'll be a good opportunity for people who aren't interested in classic to get into it.
Angela, why does it seem like there's been a lot of focus on classical music recently?
Well, that's because, famous pianists like Cho Sung-jin and Lee Myung-chan have been performing in Korea
Okay.
after winning a lot of accolades, and also especially in Busan. When the new Busan Concert Hall opened this month, tickets for the opening festival sold out within minutes, and audiences were so eager. Even the trial performances held earlier this year sold out in under 2 months. So I think it's just showing that South Koreans really are interested in classical music.
Yeah, that's right. Well, again, with Cho Soo-mi, legendary name there, Chung Myung-hoon, it does seem like the golden age for K-classicals, right?
Yes. And, they're not just artists. They're also cultural diplomats.
Oh, absolutely.
Really. Yeah. And so this week, Korean audiences can get to both see them in their elements. So, yeah. Exciting news for classical enthusiasts.
And Angela, before we say goodbye,
Yes.
you have picked a song from The Boys, 도원경,
Yes.
but Quasi una Fantasia.
Yes, as the title suggests, this also uses classical music in it. So,
All right, there you have it. Angela, thank you so much. We'll see you again tomorrow.
see you tomorrow. Coffee break. Today's tidbit.
All right, it's time for our coffee break. Today's tidbit. Joining us in the studio, as she always does, Angela. Angela, hello to you.
Hi, SJ.
Angela, you're young.
Yes.
What young people be saying these days that means like the bomb? Back in the 90s, what I used to say.
What does the bomb mean?
So like I would be like, I'd be like, let's say like I love sandwiches.
Yeah.
And New
This
York's,
is bomb.
Yeah, like this pastrami sandwich is the bomb. Or like if it's like really good, it's the bombs. Yes,
this
the
is
bombs.
legit.
Legit?
This is
Yo,
legit.
this is legit.
And I don't know, I think someone mentioned it, but like if someone is really dressed well, he was like, you ate it.
You ate it?
Yeah, like you ate the outfit, like. And then a lot of slangs. I don't know. A lot of the words I use aren't appropriate for.
That's what I said. That's what I
radio.
said. Yeah, me
Yeah,
too. So like a lot of like I got lit fire. I feel like fires.
Yeah, like lit is legit.
Oh, is lit legit?
Kinda.
It's like
think
fire.
so.
It's like fire.
Yeah.
It's lit. It's
Yeah.
fire. Sleighs.
Yeah.
I remember sleighs.
Yeah. So, a lot of the words that actually the younger generation use in the U.S. is actually words that that Black people used in the past, like
Yes.
the underground.
Yes.
It was like kind of subculture, and now it's seeped into language that the younger generation uses. So
Skr.
that's yeeting.
That's eating?
Yeah, yeet. Skr.
Yawawi.
What's that?
I don't know. I saw some YouTubers say. I thought it was funny. I don't know. I watch random stuff, guys. I've been a really big fan of Asian Boy Ray. I don't know if you guys know Asian Boy Ray. He's my one of my favorite YouTubers now. But anyways, what's today's tidbit?
Well, I recently finished a novel called A Thousand Blues, or 청개의 파랑, and it's a soft sci-fi book set in the near future. And it just really reminded me of a very exciting event happening in Seoul right now. But
What's happening in Seoul right now that's reminding you of A Thousand Blues?
the book reminded me of the event.
Now, when I hear blue, I feel sad.
Yeah, it makes me feel. But okay, so the event made me feel very excited and sad at the same time.
Okay, so why the mixed emotions? What's going on with you right now?
Because Seoul is hosting one of the biggest literary festivals of the year right now, the Seoul International Book Fair, and I couldn't get a ticket.
Oh, is that what? Really? You can't get tickets to a Seoul International
They were
Full
completely sold out.
Book Fair?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so the entire 5-day event sold out before it even started, like weeks before, and that's over 150,000 tickets, all gone in
Wait, hold on,
advance.
time out. 5-day event that's all sold out?
Yeah.
Really? For
Yes.
Book Fair?
Yes.
I thought Koreans didn't read.
That's the thing. People are reading. So, I decided to discuss this because, it's such a cultural phenomenon and, so much stuff happened in even just the first 2 days and made headlines. So, maybe if you hear about it now, it might encourage you to get tickets early next year.
Sounds fair enough. Let's talk about this then.
So 4 of my friends have gone or are going this year, and it's no wonder the book fair has grown into a massive cultural event, not just for readers, but for anyone interested in publishing, design, art, and even politics.
Are you sure they're your friends? How come they didn't get you a ticket?
So they're going with their friend groups. Like,
Oh, so you're not part of that friend group?
yeah, we have different friends. Like, this friend is one group, those friends are another
That's
group.
not lit. That's not very lit.
Our main writer actually got tickets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she told
Wow.
me, but like she hasn't decided if she's gonna go.
But with all the things that's happening, right? Because, well, our writer is a big writer, right? And she's into, like, okay.
She's into publishing.
She's into publishing.
Yes.
But all of this, it sounds way bigger than just like tables of
Yes.
books that you would imagine at a book fair.
Definitely. So the fair officially opened on June 18th this year and runs through the 22nd at COEX in Seoul. It's organized by the Korean Publishers Association, which has been around since 1947, and they're the oldest and largest organization supporting Korea's publishing industry.
Wow, even before the Korean War.
Yeah.
So how long has the book fair itself been around then?
Since 1954.
Just after the
Can you
Korean
believe it?
War?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So this year marks its 67th edition, and over the decades, it's evolved into Asia's leading international book fair. This year, 17 countries are participating, including Taiwan as the guest of honor, and in total, 535 publishing-related companies are involved, 429 from Korea and 106 from abroad.
This is pretty cool. And I know Claire Harker, our listeners, she's writing a novel right now, but she's also a big bookworm. She's really big into books. You might be really interested in this. With all these major events, there's always a theme. What's the theme for this year?
So this year's theme is 믿을 구석, or the last resort in English. It's all about what we turn to in times of struggle, emotionally, socially, or even globally. And the idea is that in a chaotic world full of crisis, books can be a safe place, a source of comfort, or even a last lifeline. I got this from the homepage.
I hear this a lot. I am always told 믿을 구석이 없어. I can't believe anything.
Who tells you that?
Like people around me.
They tell you that they can't believe in anyone?
No, to me.
To you?
믿을 구석이 없어. I don't trust anything from
About you?
About me. So I'm like, 믿을
Maybe
구석.
they should rely on a book.
Oh man, it's triggered me. But what is it? What's so different about this year's festival, though?
The buzz this year is unprecedented. One reason is that it's the first major book fair since author Han Gang won the Nobel Prize in Literature. And, for instance, Han Gang's publisher Tangbi has a massive booth, and fans were lining up around all 4 sides of the booth to buy her book.
I mean, but you're not buying it from her, though.
Yeah, but still, it's there. The buzz is there.
But what's 4 sides, though? Like from all 4
Yeah,
sides?
all 4 sides. So if the booth is there, people are just lining around in circles.
Oh my goodness.
To get into the booth.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's not just Hangang. Booths from Minumsa and Bunakdongne are both famous and the largest publishers in South
I've heard of
Korea.
Bunakdongne,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were packed too. Another publishing booth was packed because people were lining up not to buy books, but to get their hands on key rings featuring like trending reading memes. 독서 붐은 온다, reading boom is coming, or 과시용 독서도 독서다. Like even reading just for show is still reading.
That's not true.
I think it is.
That's not true. Reading for show is reading?
You're still reading.
I mean, you're pretending to read.
But some publishers even ran out of books like in the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any like unique experiences at the booths?
Definitely. So booths don't just sell books. They sell book-related merchandise like bookmarks as well.
Bookmarks are good.
This is why I brought this in.
Is that your bookmark?
So my friend went there and she remembered that I liked Lily of the Valleys and she got this for me. But this is really interesting because this bookmark is made like it's a Korean traditional bookmark. I don't know if the people seeing on YouTube can see it, but yeah. It's so pretty. Look
No,
at
it is
that.
pretty.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I was like, because I didn't notice it because it
Yeah.
was in the envelope.
It's embroidery.
Wait, can I touch
yeah,
this?
sure, of course.
Okay.
It's embroidery and there's a whole series of it based on like plants. And so yeah, like they sell special editions and stuff like this at the book fair.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some booths also focus on interactive ways to experience books. One publisher, Oimu, that also made this bookmark, offered a sentence receipt service. You pick a keyword like rose, radio, and they print out a quote from one of their books as a little pink receipt.
Oh, and you could use that as a bookmark.
Yeah. So it's it's really about remembering books and reading them.
Okay, so we know Hangang wasn't there, but was there any big name appearances?
Yes. Guess what? Former President Moon Jae-in came to support the fair because he is the bookshop keeper of Pyeongsan Cheokbang. There were also talks featuring people like director Park Chan-wook, actor turned publisher Park Jong-min, and even Go or Baduk champion Lee Se-dol, who discussed AI and science fiction.
My dad went to the Pyeongsan Cheokbang, the
Oh,
bookstore,
wow.
and actually met former President Moon Jae-in, and he's replaced that picture of him and former President Moon Jae-in with the picture of me and my dad had. So
My friend also shook the president's hand.
he
yesterday.
comes every day or something like that,
Yeah.
but at a specific time. But it's cool that he came to this. All right, this is quite a guest list though.
And, it shows, how books intersect with so many fields, film, science, politics, you name it.
You mentioned Taiwan as the guest of honor, but what did that include though?
So Taiwan brought over 30 writers and 26 publishing organizations. There were exhibitions of graphic novels, picture books, and talks by celebrated authors like Chun She and Chun Soo-hong. Their presence really highlighted the regional exchange of ideas through literature.
It really puts in the international
Yes,
Book
definitely.
Festival, right? I mean, this is an exciting global event.
Exactly. And young people especially showed up in droves. Even on opening day, people were lining up before 10 a.m. when this fair begins. Some visitors came from other cities with suitcases just to shop for books. And, it really flipped the stereotype that only older generations read a lot.
I have a lot of books. I just haven't read them. I might have to try to do that. I need to promise.
That's a good thing.
No, I like book. We have a lot of fans of bookmarks. That's one of the most underrated things out there. Bookmarks. I fold the edges of the pages and it just looks ugly afterwards.
You fold.
Yeah, I do. I know.
My
And then
heart.
I know.
I'm
but
clutching my pearls right now.
I know that's what I do because I don't have a bookmark, but that's what it is. Anyways, we're going to continue to talk about this. This is cool stuff here, but first let's take a listen to a song here from Haeyeon Sang with A Book of Love. During the music break, random stuff. Let's talk about the 2025 Seoul International Book Fair as we've been doing so. What's driving all this excitement? Again, our producer was saying it's something SJ would not understand. Yes, I don't understand how 5 days of an international book fair could be all sold out when I've clearly heard that Koreans just don't read anymore. Is it like a Hangang phenomenon?
No, but besides Hangang, do you remember when we discussed 책구 and the 필사 trend
Yes,
on
yes,
Coffee
yes,
Break?
yes.
Yeah, so like book talk. Have you heard of that?
Is it like TikTok but books?
Yes. So people like recommending books on TikTok and Instagram, and those.
Oh yeah.
Social media aesthetics definitely play a role for the younger generation. Plus, we've talked about the whole 책구 trend before, right? Decorating your books, your journals, and then going to book cafes. So books have become sort of lifestyle objects rather than just for reading. And so it's a fair about books, but also about identity.
Wait, hold on, time out now. So let me see if I understand this correctly. Books aren't just for reading now.
Exactly. as I said earlier, 과시용 독서도 독서다. Just for show, it's still reading.
Oh my gosh.
And we briefly discussed it before on Coffee Break. There's even a trending term now called text hip. Do you remember this?
Oh, I do remember text tip. Yes.
So that just shows how books have become a stylish part of self-expression. And for the younger generation, reading isn't just, a private act anymore. It's something you want to show off, whether through social media, book-themed fashion, or even limited edition merchandise like I just brought today.
That's limited edition?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. They say limited edition for everything, and then it makes people want to buy it.
Yeah, and it's not just about what we read, but why we read. And in times of uncertainty, books give people something to rely on, That's why this year's theme, The Last Resort, resonates so deeply with the audience.
All right, so has anything changed structurally about the fair this year, though?
Well, this year was also historic because it was the first fair since the organizing body became a formal company rather than, government-led. And so we can expect an even more professionalized global approach going forward. Some professionals say it can bring on better infrastructure, stronger international outreach, and maybe even satellite events in other cities.
Yeah, also, for K literature to spread wide and far again. I've been saying this for the longest time. I feel like the next wave is going to be K-books. Hanggang has certainly, Hanggang certainly really helped a lot, but even further, right? But do you have any tips for people who might want to visit next year, including yourself, who couldn't buy tickets?
Bring a backpack or even a suitcase.
Suitcase?
My friend had to buy a bag at the book fair because she didn't have enough space to hold all her books.
Is it cheaper?
No, but it's merchandise. They sell book bags at the fair as well. So
no, like if you buy books at the book fair, is it cheaper?
Well, they sell limited edition covers, different book covers, or pre-releases.
Fair enough.
And but first and foremost, book your ticket early. Seriously, they introduced a full reservation system this year, but you have to act fast because it sold out during pre-sales.
But that brings questions about accessibility as well. Did the fair work for all generations?
So this is where things get a bit complicated. Some people felt the fair catered too much to the younger generation. For example, because of safety concerns, they didn't sell any on-site tickets, only advanced reservations online, which made it harder for older readers or people without internet access to attend.
Yeah, again, a lot of the stuff that they're selling, a lot of stuff they're talking about with the checkgus and stuff like that, it just seems like it's really catering to the younger generation.
Yeah.
And there is still, well, my dad's very tech savvy, so he would be able to do this, but it would be very uncomfortable for those that can't use the internet to make reservations and stuff like that.
And only after complaints built up did the organizers open a free entry for people over 65, the disabled, and other specific groups. But it felt like an afterthought.
Yeah.
So even the event maps were mostly online, accessible through a QR code or in the entry wristband. And some print pamphlets were handed out, but the print was so small that even the younger generation complained they couldn't read it.
So that seems like something they'll need to rethink,
yes,
right?
Definitely. So, it's a fair that celebrates books as slow media, but, ironically, the pace and structure of the event demanded extreme speed and tech savviness. So, the question going forward is how can the fair share the value of reading across generations?
There you have it. Angela, I think this is fantastic. Hopefully next year you'll be able to get tickets to this.
Hopefully.
And we'll talk about it then. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you again Monday.
See you Monday.
Sending her out of the studio, let's take a listen to a song here from Hatfeld with Read Me, 나란 책.